It was really cool to be there. I mean, it was really. I remember the first day I drove into Skywalker Ranch. I was just like, man,
Yeah.
this is really cool. Yeah, and then we worked
Great feeling.
in the carriage house, which was about well, right across from the main house where George's office was, and
Mm.
Rick McCallum, and yeah, and that was great. You know, we were working in a mansion. It was like a house. You know, we were working in
Yeah.
a creaky old house with very high tech. Uh, there were very high tech screening rooms inside this old house, but and very high tech editing bays, in this old mansion. But it was fun. But yeah, it was fun coming in there every day to work. I mean, I loved working at Skywalker Ranch. That was every. In fact, what's funny is we all talk about it today. All the guys that I worked with on the Clone Wars that were at Skywalker, we all sort of lament how 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 great it was, and how we're probably never going to have an experience like that again.
Again,
Um, yeah,
who knows? You might. Well, Disney has really uh, made a lot of Star Wars fans angry, from what I could kind of see over the internet. You know,
yeah,
their reactions.
yeah.
Um,
The fandom menace. Yeah, I know. They're trying. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched the Clone Wars, but in the last couple of episodes that I don't know if you know about this, but they canceled the show before the final season was completed, right? When Disney bought Lucasfilm, they
yeah.
canceled the Clone Wars, and
Oh.
they recently finished off the season. Recently,
Hmm.
this last year,
Hmm.
and wow, I mean, they did an incredible job. I was really shocked at how much money and time and how good the show looked. It looked incredible.
Wow.
They really did a fantastic job. Um, and I was kind of like, wow, I wish I wish the whole show looked like was like that from the very beginning.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Have you seen that? Have you seen the last season?
Is it the
That the
Mandalorian thing? Clone
Yeah.
Wars?
Hmm.
No, actually, I haven't seen it. You have to pay like a subscription, right?
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's beautifully done. They really. I think the Disney gave them a lot of money because I think our episodes were around 1.2 to 1.7 million apiece,
Hmm.
and George was flipping the bill for all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think, if I heard correctly, I heard Cartoon Network was paying $400,000 per episode, and so George was already, losing money on each episode, but
Mm.
he knew that he was going to be making money on the toys.
Yeah.
So so I think in the first or second year of the Clone Wars, I think we went into a meeting at Big Rock Ranch, and they were showing us that the toys after the second season or third season of Clone Wars was upwards of 650 million in profits.
Whoa.
So so George knew that he was going to make his money back
Back,
in
yeah.
another way. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, the state of Star Wars now, I don't really want to say anything about it, like, at least not to the public. But
I think I'll probably edit that part out. Because, well, yeah, I've been in the business long enough that you can negatively affect our career. Then, now I know. Yeah, before I didn't know. I just said whatever.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's funny, when I was on a Star Wars, not a Star Wars show, but it was a fan show. It was a fandom. There's actually a fandom Menace show. It was one of the fandom Menace guys, and he's a friend of a friend, and that's how I got on the show. And he was, really respectful, and he was very nice and very cool. And he looked at my IMDb, and he was, being very respectful and saying, "Well, you worked on a lot of big things like Batman and Clone Wars and all this stuff." So he was being very respectful, but he was also like trying really hard to get me to say shit. And we were live too, and I was just like, you know what? I can't go there, man. I cannot go there, because the business is too small.
Yeah, and everybody, and you just have to say one bad thing, and then your career is ruined.
Yeah,
that's how harsh it is.
Like, well, especially if you say one bad thing and then you get like 6,000 fans listening to you. And then word's gonna get spread, and then and if you say something really inflammatory, it's these guys are gonna like make a big deal out of it, and so
yeah, and they remember too.
And it's funny too, because he said to me, "How do you want to do this? Do you want me to introduce you, or do you want to do it incognito?" And I said, "Well, what do you think would be the difference?" And he said, "Well, I think if we do it incognito, we'd have a really good show, because then you don't have to worry about like people like knowing who you are." And I was like thinking, no, that's not gonna happen, because all I have to do, because he's, all you have to do is just give a couple of my credits, and people will know who I am.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm the only guy that's worked on, Genndy Clone Wars and the other Clone Wars. I'm the only person that's done that. So all we have to do is talk about that, and you've got me, fingered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and Batman, right? I'm the only person that worked on Batman, Clone Wars, and Clone Wars. So if I go incognito and I pretend like, oh yeah, I worked on that and that, no, man, they'll figure me out very quickly. So I said, no, we better go. You better introduce who I am, and I am not going to say shit about anything. So, and he tried a couple of times, and then I guess some of the listeners were like, ask him this. They have this system. I don't know if you know about this, but you can pay the radio show to have your question asked. Do you know about that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So you've got thousands of people like, on the chat next to the program, right? Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of people that can pay money to the show so that they can have their question fielded. And I thought that was
Super Chat. Was it on YouTube?
Yeah, it was YouTube.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Super Chat?
Yeah, you can pay. It's like a donation. You can pay anything.
Yeah. So these people were like asking. He's like, okay, I'm getting a question here. It says, why do you think Star Wars has gone the terrible direction it's gone, and blah blah blah,
Oh, God.
And I had to skirt around the questions. And my friend who was monitoring the interview, he was saying that people were going, he's not answering the question. He's not answering the question.
Oh, he was like, he blocked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was skirting the questions because they were trying to get me to say shit, and I'm in the business. I can't say shit. So my friend was like telling them that. He was telling them on the text. He was saying, Russell is in the business. He can't do that,
Yeah.
And so he was kind of protecting me on this side. All these fans were going, getting rabid and foaming at the mouth, trying to get me to say something, bad. You know what I mean?
It's They just want someone to tell them what they wanted to hear, I think.
Yeah.
About the business and why it turned that way.
Well, they want someone that's in, that was in the Star Wars to talk shit, is what they wanted. That's what they wanted. They wanted someone who worked near George, someone who worked with Dave, someone, you know what I mean, that was right there. They want somebody like that to confirm, their suspicions.
So we talked a lot about Star Wars, and I think that we kind of went into the second part, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We can talk more about it in the second part. But after Deke, cops and things, what did you do after? Because that's when I kind of lost track of you. That was in '89, I think.
Yeah, you went to Rhythm and Hughes.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, that was.
And 90, I went.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, that was '93. But I went to France actually for.
I don't remember that.
After Deke.
Mm-hmm.
In like early '90s. I remember. I don't know if you know Chris, the short guy, storyboard artist. Yeah,
I do.
It was his company, and only because him and two other guys started the animation company in Burbank, or I think maybe in North Hollywood area, called Story, like a storytelling story.
Yeah.
And that's where I went after my Deke tenure. I worked with Candido for a few years, and then I went to Story, and then I went to France. And I came back, and that's
how long were you in France?
Oh, it was like 2 months. It wasn't that long, but I worked I worked in Paris, near Place Pigalle. It was like red light district. Why is there an animation studio in red light district? And I got harassed.
Really?
I got harassed every time I walked down the street.
What did they harass you with?
Yeah, why don't you come here? You know.
Yeah.
Why don't you buy Our Lady a drink, kind of thing.
Wow.
I never did that though. I was kind of scared. And
you have every reason to be.
Yeah, I didn't want anything crawling up on my pant leg.
Or into your internal organs.
Yeah. And I came back and I went to Rhythm and Hughes. This was '93. Yeah.
Okay.
I was there for like 5 years. Yeah.
I went to. I remember going to Belgium and going into the red light district, and I didn't get like aggressive salesmen. Yeah, but it was really. I've never seen anything like that before, and it was really surreal. I mean, it was really, really strange. You see, like women in the windows, wearing garters and bras and stuff, and they're just sitting there in a chair, and with a red light. Yeah. It's really like, really strange, So, and this whole neighborhood is just filled with these businesses, and that was really for my young eyes, it was really trippy because there's nothing like that in the United States.
Yeah.
So after Warner Brothers, I think I was I don't have exact recall on where I was, but I do know that after Warner Brothers, I went to.
Well, checking your IMDb, did you go to work on Titan AE?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but when was that? 92, 93?
It was the video came out, or the movie came out 2000. According to IMDb.
So maybe it was 97. Yeah, see, because I went through a lot of phases back then, because I was after Warner Brothers. I was working at 20th Century Fox on Titan AE for a year. I was there, and then I also worked on. I worked with Brad Bird on Ray Gunn, and which was a movie he did before, a movie we were working on before Iron Giant.
Yeah.
And then I also went to Warner Brothers Features for a little while and was working on the Wolves movie for Ted Turner, Turner Features.
Yeah.
I was at Turner Features, and I got to meet one of the classic Warner Brothers animators, there. He was working as a consultant, Maurice Noble. You remember that name?
Oh no, I don't.
Okay, he did a lot of the backgrounds for the Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoons and Daffy Duck cartoons, and he was like he was he was an advisor, like a technical advisor at the feature unit. So I got to meet like one of the classic guys, the classic Warner artists, which was really cool. Hung out with him. He was funny too because he said we were talking about 2001, and he said, yeah, I got to see the original screening of 2001, the 3-hour version. And I said, really, what was that like? And he goes, it was more of the same.
More of the same.
So it just sounds like longer shots of the same thing.
Yeah.
And then
3
after,
hours, wow.
Yeah, 3 hours long. And then what else? Titan AE, and then I worked on a couple of live action movies under the table, so you won't see my credits. But I worked on Little Nicky, was an Adam Sandler movie, and I worked on.
Did you do like background or environment designs?
Yeah, I worked on the Gates of Hell,
Oh,
which was part of the a big part in the movie. So, and I worked on Battlestar Galactica, the TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
the
that.
second one, the one that Ron Moore did. I worked on that for a little while, and unfortunately that didn't work out too. That was going to be great because the production designer wanted to make me the special effects director, and so I was working with her, and we were working together on coming up with a look for the show, and she had been working in live action for a long time, and then they let her go because I think they thought that she was too conservative. So in letting her go, and I was working with her, I was let go too because I was with her,
Yeah.
But I did have one ship that Ron Moore liked. He liked my design, and he kept it through the entire series, which I thought was pretty cool. Excuse me.
Yeah, it seems like the spaceships also environment seems like your like a main theme throughout your career. I mean, you had father who flew the bomber, and then you even saw planes in the museum.
Yeah.
That seems to be like a recurring theme, and
Yeah.
even with the your movie and TV works.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just love I love flying. I think whatever flying there is, like flying in the air or flying in space, or I think I just love that. I think.
Oh, I was gonna say you even have a flying license, don't you?
Well, I didn't get the license. I have like 38 hours, but I didn't finish the license because I financially I just couldn't do it at the time, and I just I couldn't finish it. So it might be something I might do later on, hopefully. I don't know. The climate is kind of tough right now, but I'd love to finish it. Yeah, that was a blast, man. But that's why I was skydiving. Skydiving, you're kind of flying, you're falling, but you're kind of flying.
Flying too, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're tracking, like you put your arms behind you, you start to fly forwards. But when the parachute comes out too, you're kind of flying too. You got a glider above you. So, but I think the reason why I didn't like that particular kind of flying, is I thought it was just too noisy. Well, I mean, airplanes are noisy too, but I don't know. I guess it was more falling than it was flying. That's why I quit.
Oh.
Because I had around like 40 jumps, so I didn't quite get up to 100, but I just quit because I just thought, you know what, this is really dangerous. And this is not quite flying the way I thought
yeah.
flying should be, you know. And scuba diving is like flying. You know, when you get in really clear water, you kind of feel like you're flying.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I think as soon as I started, as soon as I started diving in the tropics, I'd never wanted to dive in California anymore because you can't see in California. You know, it's
Oh
like
my
the
God.
visibility. I think the visibility is like 45 feet or 30 feet in the summer, but in the winter it's like 10 feet or 5 feet or something. But in the tropics, the visibility is like 300 feet.
Mm,
So so you can see your shadow on the ground, and stuff like that. It's
yeah.
really, really clear. Um, so, but that's also too like an alien landscape. When you're scuba diving, you're flying around and you're in this alien world, and that's really cool. That's really fun. You see really strange creatures. Some of them you can't even imagine. Um, and you're flying around, in this weird environment. So,
Did you go down really deep
yeah,
or
I mean, well, I think
60 feet plus?
yeah, I've been. I mean, I've been the deepest you can go for using scuba equipment. Um, I've been down to 140 feet, and I think that's like as probably as deep as you want to go. I think I've heard of people going 160 feet, but 140 feet, you only have you're you're breathing such condensed air at that point. You probably wouldn't have probably couldn't last any more than 20 minutes or so, or maybe 25 minutes on one tank,
Mm,
and you don't want to take that chance. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
also too, you'll get the bends if you stay down there too long. You got to do decompression stops
Yeah.
so that you can get rid of the nitrogen that's built up from the condensed air.
Mm,
So we did that. We we dove the blue hole over in Belize, and I went down to about 140 feet, and then we slowly, we were only down there for like 10 minutes, and then we came back up and we hung out under the boat for. The boat was on a coral reef, and the reef was about 20 feet deep, and we just hung out there on the bottom underneath the boat for about 15 minutes so we could decompress and get the
decompress.
nitrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we just hung out there, and then we finally came onto the boat. So, but yeah, that's that. I love scuba diving. Scuba diving is still like one of my favorite sports.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah. So where are we now? We're on.
We finished
Oh, right.
all five questions. We went into part two with Star Wars, but I'm glad that we did because Star Wars can. Well, I'm interested in that too, but it can. Uh, you and I can talk about that all day long, and I'm
Hmm.
sure there are people who are interested in your involvement, so that can work part of part two um, as well.
Yeah.
But we covered all part one.
But except we didn't talk about ArtStation
Oh
and
yeah.
what is art is non-essential? What do you mean by that?
Oh, remember when because of coronavirus, the state governors were saying this job's not essential, so you have to stay in the
Oh,
house. You don't
yeah,
have to. You
I
don't.
I didn't know about that.
And art was one of them. And
Hmm.
I'm like, what? So you're not gonna have movie production, animation production, and game production because all the art is such an essential thing in the beginning of the production, even
Hmm.
during production. So I thought that was kind of like a BS. So that's why I included that. So then we're talking about all the basic things, and then we start to go into the things that affect us these days,
Yeah, yeah,
coronavirus and working from
yeah.
home, all that kind of thing. I thought
Right.
that might really get people's interest.